What's up, you CYBL army, CYBL family and moneymakers? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the very juicy, interesting and important information about CYBL. CYBL offers a great opportunity to double the investment just in December, and I love what I see. I'm going to share why I think this can 2x. The price point for CYBL at the moment is 2 cents, as you can see, 0.021, and it creates another opportunity to buy. So we'll talk about some of the very important stuff and updates by CYBL. We are seeing 8 to 9% down in the last trading session. For the last 5 days, the stock is down 31% for 1 month. The stock is down almost, it is cut in half at the moment, 47% from 4 cents. The stock went to 2 cents. And I want to remind you that that is what creates an opportunity to buy. For last 6 months, as you can see, the stock was around 1 cent and it was a sub penny stock, went to 6.5 cents. If you think in a broader way, at a very high level, what has changed in the last few days? I believe the sentiment is something that has changed. The fundamentals of the company remains the same. The aggressive growth strategy remains the same. The company's revenue actually is going up, and I'll be sharing more details and data around it. And I want to let's remind ourselves that whatever has changed is the sentiment, the market ups and downs. The overall market sentiment has changed, but in last few days, but the rest remains the same for this particular company, CYBERLUX Corporation. At this point, if you can click the like button and subscribe to the channel, that will be super helpful. Doesn't cost you anything. If you click the like button, it'll help me have this video reach to more and more people, and we can share and spread the word out. Red days are something that creates opportunity to buy. I'm not saying buy your entire portfolio or entire saving. Do your own due diligence. I'm not a financial advisor. This is only for the entertainment purposes, but you want to do your own due diligence. The stock was up 6.5 cents. Right now it's 2 cents, and the fundamentals have become more attractive for me, at least for me, what I see. And you should also consider that as well. And this is where you can make money. Patience is the key. Extremely risk versus reward. So it is an OTC traded stock. It can go either way. So do your own due diligence before you buy or sell any stock that we talk on this channel. When I talk about risk versus reward, this can go 2x, 3x, 5x, because there's a potential CYBERLUX can go to 10 cents. So there's a potential to make a 5x return on a stock. On the flip side, you can lose the money as well. Now, looking further into their Twitter account, the community has been growing, more than 8,800 followers, as you can see on my screen. We'll talk about that in more detail. So, with so much happening right now across all four business units, we're planning our next Q&A video next week. So we're expecting some of the great update from CYBL, as you can see on my screen. Their Bogota office is finalizing the plans for the new solar project acquisition under the direction of their new hire who joined their board of director team. As soon as this detail will complete, they'll be sharing more and more detail. If you want to take a look at further into the upcoming schedule for the next few days, the November result revenue, they have updated us, that I'll share in a second. The Colombia solar project details this week, so we'll be hearing a ton more on solar project as well in upcoming few days. ITS business unit status 2022 revised financial outlook. This is something that I'm super excited to learn more about, because once again, fundamentally, the company has become strong in last few days based on their strategy, based on their outlook, and based on how much they are following up on. 2 December acquisitions are work in progress, which is once again a great thing, because if the company does more and more acquisitions, that means they'll be bringing in more and more revenue. Great for their balance sheet, great for their profitability. European business expansion is also on the product roadmap and new strategic IP disclosure that the company is aiming for. Before I go ahead, I wanted to share this update with you that CYBERLUX Corporation announced this particular individual, Mr. Goodman, as a new member of the board of directors to help guide company's acquisition strategy and accelerate market segment growth. Now, this individual has a track record and they have joined the board of director as the new director who will help guide the corporate acquisition strategy and execution. Mr. Goodman brings significant experience in merger and acquisition (M&A) to CYBERLUX Corporation. He has held a senior leadership position in some of the world's largest financial firms. Mr. Goodman also brings extensive knowledge and technology of big data to CYBERLUX board of directors that will help to drive company's objective to uplist to the NASDAQ exchange. Guys, I've started hearing this more and more from CYBERLUX that they want to uplist on NASDAQ. Deja vu. Remember what happened to ILUS, the ticker symbol that we are looking pretty closely, which is once again also an OTC traded stock. So the ambition of having uplisting on NASDAQ from CYBL does not surprise me, but it excites me that it is going to impact the price that we are seeing, especially from 2 cents, what we see at the moment. Over 20 years, this individual who joined their board of director team has distinguished career in investment banking, hedge fund, private equity industry, and focusing on business growth through the technology, M&A, and corporate strategy. He has held various C-level executive positions as CTO, Chief Technology Officer, COO, Chief Operating Officer, and Administrative Officer at several largest bigger corporations in the investment banks and institutional security firms. So that is pretty clear what CYBL is trying to do. They're trying to appoint an individual who has proven track record so that can help drive the strategy for acquisition as well as for CYBL to get uplisted on NASDAQ. If you own CYBL, this could be a great opportunity because from 2 cents, I do believe that the stock has once again to 3x within next few months, because 6.5 cents is something what we have already seen for CYBL. The market cap for CYBL is 116.42 million, as you see on my screen. With the year range, the stock was 0.0001 and it went all the way to 6.5 cents, as you see once again on my screen. If you think about overall what CYBL is up to, here is an outlook of what the company does. According to me, the global market size doesn't really matter. It doesn't really excite me, as you see on my screen, because the company is focusing right now. It's a $57 billion market cap. When you think about Flight Eye UAS unmanned automated solution that the company is focusing on, 3.7 billion for the global market for advanced lighting solution, that does not really tell the story what CYBL can do. So I wouldn't really focus on that. But what I wanted to focus though is all these 4 different business units. The rest 2 are ITS, infrastructure technology solutions, that also involve some of the big data stuff that CYBL just mentioned. And the last but not the least is infrastructure software solutions. So the company is trying to be more and more towards technology, innovation, IP, and grow their business with the Department of Defense or DoD, whatever you want to call it. If you take a look in Q3 year-to-date 2021, they have a strategic supplier named Wolfspeed. The second one is UAS account complete. USMC project is ongoing, and they are also focusing on ITS acquisition that is going to be completed. That was complete in Q3, but there is still some overlap work that is being done in Q4. If you think for Q4, they're focusing on their strategic IP, the acquisition renewal, the strategic initiatives that is going on as well, and ongoing US agencies. If you remember, they have also hired another key business executive who is helping navigate through the complexity of government agencies to bring in more contract. They have horizontal relationship with all of the US agencies. What they want to do with this Department of Defense and other agencies that they have relationship with is they want to grow horizontally into more and more for the revenue opportunities that they can close sooner than later. They're also focusing on some of the South American projects, including Guatemala, Ecuador, and El Salvador. And we have been seeing some of the big momentum into those markets as well. It may or may not be huge revenue, but what I foresee is the company's footprint will be expanded at the global level, which is going to help the company more and more and more in upcoming next quarters. What I want to focus is this particular weekly recap. The November's revenue beats projection by 37%. This is not new. We have seen for this very similar for last month as well, where the company grew their revenue more than what they have advised us or their guidance was for the shareholders, which is in my opinion is very lucrative opportunity for whoever wants to focus on investing more into the stock price, especially when the stock is cut in half. Because fundamentals remain the same, their guidance remains the same. On the contrary, their guidance is going above and beyond their original financial numbers and guidance. All in all, November was a great month, and which is why I'm saying that this could be a December stock. It can double up in price. Now, don't count me accountable for what I'm saying because I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own due diligence and research. I'm just sharing my thoughts and opinion. By no means this is a financial advice. The addition of Mr. Goodman, financial industry and M&A expert, added to the board of director, and which we will be seeing more and more momentum around their NASDAQ uplisting given the background of this individual. The solar project acquisition for Colombia for 30 hectares. The project rollout plan is being finalized and that will be released soon in December, which once again can create a lot more momentum as well. What you and I should focus if you own CYBL stock is their high-level revenue, their top-line numbers with profitability, their guidance for 2022, and some of the upcoming great initiatives that can change the future the way CYBERLUX is operating at the moment. I also wanted to share their CEO announced or shared an update on Twitter that we had another great month and Q4 is on track with one of our best ever. As planned, we had growth from acquisitions and large market that we work in, and we just beat the revised November outlook by 37%. This growth is what harnessing the future truly means. Now, what that means is companies over-exceeding their even newer outlook in terms of the revenue. Hopefully, they'll keep doing the same because remember, once again, this company wants to become a $100 million revenue company, very similar to what ILUS set themselves up the goal for. If you think about how ILUS went up and skyrocketed from 6 to 7 cents to all the way to 45 and 50 cents, I'm not saying that will similar case for CYBL given that the outstanding shares that they have, but there is a possibility and then there is an opportunity based on the fundamentals that it can go 5 to 7x from what we see at the moment. So from 2 cents, if you think about 5x, it's 10 cents, which means $1,000 investment can turn into $5,000 or a $100 investment can turn into $500. Do your own due diligence and based on what you want to, you don't want to invest the money that will wake you up at night. Just invest the money that you're willing to lose and doesn't really matter if it doesn't show up tomorrow. Now, once again, I want to share this. Their CEO also mentioned that we're excited to report that we posted $1.51 million in revenue for the month of November and versus the 1 million June projection. So in June, the company had a projection of $1 million revenue in November, which they over exceeded, and they did 1.51 million, which is a 51% beat. But November revenue also exceeds our revised November outlook by 37% because if you remember later on, their outlook was 1.1 million that they exceeded by 37% and now they have the revenue for November 1.51 million. We also exceeded our revised Q4 revenue ramp by 37% as well. So this is looking super promising, very juicy information I just wanted to share with you. What do you want to focus on when you think about ILUS and CYBL or any other OTC traded stock is their volume. If you take a look, and this is how I put it up, because this is a volume deficiency for both ILUS, for CYBL, we saw the volume up to 140, 30, 50 million, but right now the volumes are around 84, 187 million, 56 million, so on and so forth. as CYBL went below 2 cents. It represented a pretty good buying opportunity, and we went back up pretty quickly to 212, and we're close at 212. If the volume goes up, in my opinion, the price should reflect in a very positive direction as well, given the catalysts that we are seeing and given the momentum. Once the company announced more planning around the NASDAQ uplisting, this can also impact the price point, and hopefully it'll skyrocket as well based on the news. When there is an OTC traded stock, there is a possibility it fluctuates based on the news. What I see right here in terms of the technical pointers, if you see the chart on my screen, the moving average is 0.04. So 4 cents is the moving average, and the stock price is at 2 cents. What that suggests is, if you take a look at this red line, this blue is the actual stock price, which was way above the moving average for a long period of time, which went below, which does not necessarily a great sign. But if you take a look at the outlook for the market and the sentiment within the entire stock market, if you think about Dow Jones or NASDAQ, so on and so forth, and what is going on with the health and pandemic situation, this is what is happening, what we see at the moment. If things turn around, there is a great possibility that CYBL can hit back 4 cents or even more than that. If you take a look further into their RSI, that suggests the relative strength index. What that means is the way the stock is oversold or overbought. 27 to 30 RSI is something I love to see. I really like what I see on this chart because it represents an oversold condition. Whenever you look into the oversold condition as a sentiment, that can positively impact into the stock price, because the oversold will even out and it will go back. This index will go back to 50 and 60, which means there will be more buying happening. When more buying happens, that means naturally, organically, stock price can tend to go up. It tends to go up. If you take a look at the MACD is something I don't like to see what I see on my screen, because the green is the MACD, orange is the signal, MACD is below the signal, which suggests once again a bearish momentum into the stock price. But this has a ton more to do with the overall market sentiment and not for this particular stock. Remember, OTC traded penny stocks or sub penny stocks were hit high and were hit hard last few days, and that means that more volume and more rebound in overall market may help gain the stock price for the stocks like CYBL and ILUS. I hope you like this information. Hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and also do your own due diligence, because this is only for entertainment purposes. I do my research, like to share with all of you. I hope it helps. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.